Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here. I got another Pokemon Pocket video for you. So, coming at you with a deck that I've seen top a lot of tournaments recently, and with good reason. After testing it out myself, I can definitely confirm the power of Gyarados EX. Not a Pokemon upon first glance that I thought was going to end up being that good, but it does have a few things going for it. For one, 140 damage is a lot more than it might seem for 4 energy. 4 energy seems like a lot, but when you consider that Mewtwo's Side Drive does 150 for 4 energy and requires you to discard 2, it does compare pretty favorably. Now, the Gyarados' ability on the attack will often end up hitting itself, but that's actually totally fine. So one of the other things that makes this deck work so well is in fact the Druddigon that you can see I'm leading off with here. Druddigon is going to be the main way we stall the setup, and we actually don't play any fire energy in this deck at all. It's mainly just, not even mainly, it's entirely just a staller. Our list, by the way, is 2 Magikarp from Mythical Island, 2 Gyarados EX, 2 Froakie, 2 Frogadier, 2 Greninja, 2 Druddigon, 2 Pokeball, 2 Misty, 2 Professor's Research, 2 Leaf. So we are playing a very Pokemon-heavy deck. We don't have as many trainers as a lot of other decks. You could cut the Greninja line and just play Articunos. That is something that you could do if you wanted to play more trainers. But I actually really like the Greninja line in this deck. So this deck, like I said, has a lot going for it. For one, like I mentioned before, the Druddigon is very, very good as a staller. I think even better than Weezing, potentially. True, it doesn't have Koga to back it up, but with 100 HP on a basic, the ability to deal damage without energy via its ability, and also no weakness, most notably, is actually just insane. On top of that is the fact that, the Leaf allows us to retreat the Druddigon out for no cost. Yeah, so here's the Rough Skin kicking in against the Mewtwo here. Going to deal 20 damage on the Crackback, which allows the Gyarados to one-shot the Mewtwo. So Gyarados' attack, again, can one-shot a Mewtwo if it takes the Rough Scales damage, which, as you can see here, is pretty decently likely to happen. Furthermore, Gyarados can also one-shot both Pikachu EX and Zapdos EX, making its weakness kind of a moot point. 140 is a lot. It's a lot. It can one-shot a ton of things. Celebi, it can one-shot that. Mew, it can one-shot that. Aerodactyl, it could one-shot that. Hypothetically, I'm just thinking of like other EXs off the top of my head. Yeah, a lot of potential. A lot of really good potential for this card here. Now, like I said, I have been looking at tournament results from pretty much since the new set came out, and yeah, there's a lot of Celebi EX like you'd expect to see. Yeah, there's a lot of Mewtwo EX playing Mew like you'd expect to see. But really, this Gyarados deck is really starting to crop up a lot, so don't sleep on Gyarados EX like I did. When this set first came out, I read Gyarados EX and I was like, it's not really that much better than the regular one, but yeah, I vastly underestimated this card. Also, 180 HP is nothing to scoff at. It can take a lot of hits, including Mewtwo's Side Drive. It does not actually get one-shot by a Side Drive, which is pretty insane. Of course, the Celebi EX deck doesn't really have a damage cap, so in that regard, it's not safe against everything necessarily, but yeah, close enough, right? Close enough. Unfortunately, in this list, we don't have room for Giovanni. Otherwise, we could potentially one-shot the Mewtwo with a Giovanni here. That said, we do still get to use the Raging Whirlpool potentially. Oh no, because I top deck Druddigon. That's right. So what I'm going to end up doing here is I am going to end up playing the Druddigon, right? And then I'll play one of my Leafs here, my full art Leaf, which I'm very glad I pulled. So I can use Leaf to retreat out Gyarados for only 1 energy and then swap in Druddigon. And then now I can attach my energy for a turn to the Gyarados that I just swapped out. Now, once again, my opponent's caught in the same gameplay loop where they're going to have to attack my Druddigon, or they could also not, and that's also fine with me. But either way, the Druddigon is going to get to stall here while I set up my Gyarados and try to figure out a way. This is another reason why the Greninja can be good, because if my opponent did just choose not to attack the Druddigon here, I would be relying on the Greninja's Water Shuriken to be able to take it out in one hit. But at the same time, again, if my opponent just just sits here and doesn't attack the Druddigon, they're not making any progress, and I'm just going to stall until I get Greninja. That's another thing this strategy has going for it. Yeah, it doesn't look that impressive on paper, but in practice, I can definitely see why this deck is doing so well. So they do decide to side drive the Druddigon, taking it out, only gaining 1 point instead of 2. Of course, one of the main reasons why I retreat out the Gyarados there. Now I can swap in the Gyarados, and we'll attach another water energy to it here. And yeah, our opponent's just going to concede because they know I can just take the game. So yeah, that's a very textbook game for Gyarados EX. Mewtwo is not one of its better matchups either. And still we are able to come out on top there. So, alright, we're going to head into our next battle here. This one's going to be up against Koga. Oh, did I not use the push effect on everything there? Whoops, that transition was a little bit weird, but yeah, it's all good, no worries. So, alright. I'm going to assume this is a Koga deck, because Weezing is really the only Pokemon that I saw from this opponent. But I did also notice that they had Psychic Energy on the docket as well as Dark, so... Oh, I wonder if they were playing Mew in their Koga deck, and they forgot to turn off Psychic Energy. I have noticed Mew also cropping up in a few decks here and there. I do plan on showcasing Mewtwo with Mew in it, by the way. So definitely don't worry about that if you're looking to see that. I don't know when that video is going to go up, but... Yeah, this channel is definitely more of my, like, for fun channel. I was on daily uploads on this channel for a minute, but I'm not going to commit to that as hard as the Master Duel channel, so... I don't think people really mind anyway. Yeah, so we opened one Froakie here, but managed to find another one as well as a Magikarp on our actual turn 1 here, so... Or, I guess it's turn 2 of the game, our first turn. You know what I mean. What's the rest of our hand? Leaf, Frogadier, Misty, and Gyarados. So this is another aspect of the Gyarados deck that just plays so very well, and that is the Misty card. Misty offers a lot of RNG, positive RNG for this deck. The only real drawback to using a Misty is that you've used your 1 supporter for the turn. And to be fair, 6 of our 8 trainers are supporters, but... Yeah, even if we whiff, it's still worth the risk. Naturally, we are still just going to evolve here anyway. I'll evolve the current active Froakie, rather, into Frogadier. This will not only cure the poison, but give me a little HP boost and also let me hit for 30 instead of 10. I'm going to start building up the Gyarados here as well. So yeah, my opponent still has not put anything on the bench, and if we can manage to keep it that way, we might be able to get away with one-shotting this Weezing and just taking the game that way. They are going to both poison and then, of course, attack the Frogadier. So I am going to have to swap out here, because I want to keep this Frogadier around in case I top a Greninja. So the idea here is that I was going to swap into the Froakie, but we ripped a Pokeball, which is going to find a Druddigon here. Very nice, especially since we already have a Leaf in hand. It means that we are all good to go as far as setting up this Druddigon. I guess really it's more the Druddigon is going to let us set up. So I'm going to treat out this Frogadier, swap in the Druddigon, and then I'll just keep attaching energy to Gyarados. And we should be good to go in 2 turns to win this game. Yeah, so... they can poison and tackle, deals a total of 40. I'm going to get red card here. Actually, literally does not matter at all. In fact, my new hand... Yeah, I was going to say, as long as it has a leaf, we're pretty much already just solid here. Okay, so this opponent offered me a very interesting opportunity. They went red card Sabrina, which not only RNG'd me into the Misty... But now also the Sabrina lets me swap in the Froakie, which only has a retreat cost of 1 instead of 2. So if this Misty lands 2 heads on my Gyarados here, I do actually just win this turn. And we'll see. I haven't historically had a lot of luck with Misty, but I think I might have just been using her in the wrong deck. Because, yeah, there we go. We even got 3 heads. That's going to be 3 energy on the Gyarados. I can attach my energy for turn onto the Froakie, retreat out, swap in the Gyarados, and then boom, we're going to Raging Whirlpool the Weezing, and that is going to be game because our opponent has nothing on the bench here. They only ever played this one Weezing, like I said. So, again, the fact that they had Psychic Energy makes me think that they had Mew in their deck as well. Maybe they were on the new Scolipede deck. That is also something that I do want to try at some point. So it's kind of like the new Koga deck is Weezing with Scolipede instead of Arbok. Alright, we do have one final battle that we're going to take a look at before we finish this video off here. And that is going to be against an Arcanine deck. This is more... So I featured on the channel when I played Arcanine, I featured a more aggressive list. This is more of a energy build-up list. It is going to be playing Moltres, as we'll see here in just a moment. So, alright, taking the second turn. Love to see it. The only card game I currently play where that's the case, but yeah, leading off with Froakie as our only Pokemon. But we have Frogadier and Professor's Research, so I'm not too concerned about only opening Froakie as a basic here. Yeah, opponent's going to throw out the Moltres as well as a Growlithe. Alright. So they're going to take the first turn, which again is perfectly fine with me. Leading with a Pokeball, which is going to find another Moltres, if I remember right. We'll see here in just a second. Yes, there it is. Second Moltres coming down onto the board. Before they simply pass back over to me. So we top deck a Pokeball. I'm going to activate that here. End up finding a Druddigon, which is interesting. Alright, let's see what we get off the Professor's Research. Get another Pokeball and then the Gyarados EX. So, with any luck, this Pokeball is going to find a Magikarp. And sure enough, it does. So, we are good to go on that front. I'm going to throw out the Magikarp, we're going to throw out the Druddigon, and then I'll attach an energy to Froakie. That way I can not only flop for 10 damage here, but I can also retreat out on the follow-up turn. Alright, so the other cards in our hand besides the Frogadiers are another Misty, as well as the Gyarados EX, so we're going to lean into the RNG here again on the next turn. Now, as we saw with the first game, you don't have to rely on winning a bunch of Misty coin flips in order to win with this deck. Indeed, the Druddigon so helps with that, but the Misties do help too, so... Opponent's going to land one coin flip on their Inferno Dance here. We draw another Druddigon, which you don't really need at the moment. I'm going to lead with Misty and see how many heads I can get here. And yeah, we're just going to find 3 heads on these coin flips yet again. The irony, too, of Misty being so good with Gyarados, because she was scared of them in the show. Although she got over that at one point, right? She has a Gyarados, I'm pretty sure, in the anime. But... God, I'm trying to remember at what point I stopped following the Pokemon anime. It would have been in, like, Gen 3. Because I'm old, I guess. But I digress, so... Alright, Gyarados is going to get to knock out the Moltres here. Getting to do that so early is so unbelievably good. Again, the Gyarados' ability ends up eating one of its own energy, but that doesn't even really matter. Because I can just one-shot this Moltres, or if they swap in just about anything else, I'll one-shot that as well. They're going to Sabrina here, which is a little annoying, but... yeah, I'm debating if I want to put in Druddigon or Frogadier. I decided to put in Frogadier because of the lower retreat cost. If I had a Leaf in hand, of course Druddigon would be a no-brainer here, but as it stands, yeah, we're just going to put in the Frogadier. Alright, so they're going to get to... It's funny because I had an actual back-and-forth game off-screen right after this, where I end up using Greninja, like, as an attacker. But of course I didn't record that one. And my opponent, after whiffing on their Inferno Dance here, has had enough and decided to concede. I really don't blame them. I really don't blame you, opponent. So that'll do it for this video. Thanks as always for watching and checking out these cool new Mythical Island decks. Got more on the way, but that's going to do it for now. Make sure to subscribe. It would definitely be a huge help as we're really close to YouTube partner here. But this is XLEX signing out, hoping that you have a fantastic day.